To whoever stole my copy of Microsoft Office, I will find you. You have my word. I'm Matt Howes, and this is Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. Welcome. Hey there, winners. Hey there, winners. Hi there, winners. Ho there, winners. Here we are back again, another wonderful episode of the show you all know and love, Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. I'm Matt Howes, here once again to share with you, impart upon to you my wisdom of my less than a year of fatherhood, giving you my opinions on various topics throughout the ages, over and under and out. That's all I'm saying. I'm here for you, and you are here for me. We are wonderful. We are growing. We are spreading like the coronavirus. New listeners every day. Love it. Keep it up. Keep spreading the word. Dads out there, you will be heard. By Lord Grabnar's hammer, you will be avenged. Yes, I watched Galaxy Quest last night. It is one of my favorite movies with Tim Allen in it and Alan Rickman, and it was a grand old time, to say the least, and, quotable as all hell. But here we are, folks. Once again, pardon the delay, we are traveling tomorrow. Excuse me. We are traveling to the East Coast from the West Coast, and baby's coming, sitting on a lap, and I am freaking out, guys. I do not want a screaming toddler. I don't want a screaming child on the plane, let alone my child, to be the screaming child. And I hope she'll be calm. We'll have to bring a litany of bottles and such to keep her satiated. And frankly, I'm just concerned about the other passengers, because there have been times, I told you she ruptured my eardrum because she screamed so loud one time while we were changing her diaper for no air and apparent reason. But that being said, it is going to be an excellent trip to Boston. My Penny Pooh head gets to see Grandma Rosie and Papa Kevin, and it's gonna be a good time. Get to see all the family we can. Couple of friends gonna come out, maybe, don't know, but it's gonna be great. And the best part of it all, let me tell you right now, that East Coast Chinese food. If you tell me that this West Coast Chinese food, Panda Express crap, is what I'm talking about teriyaki sticks, talking about the crab rangoons done the right way. Let's sit down for a minute on those potato breaded chicken fingers, okay? I'm telling you, poo-poo platter. They don't even know what that means out here, okay? So to get some good Chinese food in me, I'm going to go, ideally, for those of you who are in Massachusetts, to the Ocean Kai, one of the best places to get Chinese food, in my opinion. And let me tell you, last time I was home with my lovely wife before we were engaged, I won $500 on Keno. Oh, and Keno, that's another thing, East Coast. The California number game doesn't have shit on Keno. It is the greatest and most widespread game to waste money on at a bar, and it absolutely no effort. It's all luck, and you could just sit there and win. I specifically knew someone who would go out and win hundreds of dollars on Keno every time they went out. So basically paid their tab. But going back to traveling with a child, listen, I am not thrilled about it. I am going to get through it. My wife is more optimistic about it than I am. But what we're talking about here is the pressure change. The pressure change in the cabin changes the pressure for me as well, because when the pressure is on her and she's screaming, the pressure is on me to calm her down. I have been given several forms of advice about this, but the biggest one I can tell you is this really not a whole lot you can do about it. So one of the things people said is bring a pacifier to hopefully pop her ears, as the children cannot do that for themselves. And another one, feed her while takeoff is happening, I guess, which I don't think is very safe, but whatever, because then she can kind of, as she's sucking on the bottle, she will slowly pop her ears the entire time we're climbing in altitude. The third bit of advice I get is don't bring a baby on a plane. That's it. Don't fly. I didn't want to travel, honestly, at this age. I had mentioned that, but we had gotten some real deal on a ticket to go across. And again, my father hasn't met her yet, so we want to make sure we go over there. So blah, blah, blah. But listen, if anyone out there has any extra tips, do please send them in, shitsandgigs42@gmail.com, or any of our various forms of social media. But I'm just trying, so we bought a compact stroller for the airport. Is one of the things we did. We're sending our car seat with, like, we're putting that in a bag and that's flying out with us. And we're only taking one suitcase and a carry-on. Because frankly, I need 2 shirts and a pair of jeans to get me through a 4-day trip in Boston, plus a jacket. And my wife needs the entire rest of the suitcase. But that's notwithstanding, I didn't want to go, let's pay 17 bag fees. So we'll have 2 carry-ons, and I guess we will ultimately have 2 or 3 checked bags, because I guess what they said to do, or I got to look this up, because we don't have a bag for the stroller. And I'm concerned that it's just going to get destroyed on its way through. So I might have to worry about something like that, because Sarah seems to think that we can just give it to them and they'll just tag it and it'll come out unscathed on the way over. And I've seen the way that they throw shit on those planes. Yeah, so it's a little, you never know. You never know. But so we're going to be at the airport for a while. Got to leave early. Then, of course, taking the fly away from Van Nuys, which I wish I could just travel to the airport and park there, but the rates are out of this world. Huge, expensive payments. It would cost us a couple $100 to park there for 4 days. And I'm not into that, to be honest with you. I'm trying to keep this as low rent as possible. But yeah, so we're going to have her on a bus first, the Fuss bus. Hopefully it is not. And we're going to have her on a plane in a crowded airport where the coronavirus has been seen on both ends of those airports. So can't wait for that. The coronavirus. Oh, it's killing tens of people. I mean, it's not as bad as they're certainly sensationalized the shit out of it. I'll tell you that. It is a advanced flu. And just like the flu, essentially, it is, and this is my opinion, it is more concerning to those with compromised immune systems, the elderly, and unfortunately infants. I hope my lovely daughter does not contract the coronavirus, but I shall cut a lime in the case that she gets it. Get it? Corona and lime. Bum. But I'm very nervous to travel, to say the least, but there's nothing we can do to stop it. Having family 3,000 miles away, there's only one way to visit them. A road trip would be out of the question. I feel that would be far more annoying, having a 5-day journey across the country with a baby. But yeah, we'll fly. It'll be fine. Fun fact. Not a fun fact. Fun time we had this week. We went to a medieval times. I have never been to medieval times. And Penny has obviously never been to medieval times. I'm pretty sure my wife had never been to medieval times. And we went for my niece's birthday. It was a good group of 16 of us. And we had a blast. This place is cool. And frankly, to be honest, their prices are not obtuse. Like the merch and the stupid little toys you can get were very attainable price-wise. Now, I pictured it more as a carnival in my head, where it was going to be very expensive for everything. And of course, then you have to eat with your hands. Now, of course, Penny's too young to eat any of that stuff anyways, so she had a bottle. But it is loud in there. Loud, to say the least. And we're sitting in these things. I can't even really fit my feet underneath them. And Penny's sitting on my lap 90% of the time. We're passing her back and forth, but putting her on my shoulders a little bit. She didn't seem like she had a great time, but she didn't have a bad time, I guess. She didn't break down. She didn't blow up. She didn't go crazy. But boy, it was a bit of a rough go of it, to say the least, because it was so loud. I mean, it was fun. And I mean, watching those jousters fall off their horses is like watching a professional soccer game, the way that they just, whoa, no. But notwithstanding, it was a really fun time. Penny did make it all the way through. We didn't leave early, but of course the first thing we had to do was get back into our car and drive an hour back to our house with a baby who just started screaming when she got in the car. So that was fun. But again, it was reasonably priced for everything there. I couldn't believe it because, I went and I got a drink at the bar and it was regular bar prices, not inflated carnival prices. And I would have thought that everything at this place would be inflated carnival prices, but I suppose because they're a fixture since everybody who's seen The Cable Guy wants to go and see Medieval Times, and that is true. But last I checked, they don't actually let you fight to the death if you pay them a little extra or slip them free HBO. But yeah, it was cool. That was a fun time dealing with a baby who was, and you know what? This is one of those situations where you'd tell she was doing her best. Like she was trying not to be a burden. Like she could tell I was full of anxiety the entire time because I was waiting for that one loud noise to really set her off. Because when they did the huzzah in the audience before we even started, she freaked out because everybody was making loud noises. And she was, she was a trooper. She was amazing. I can't say that we thrived. I'll say that we survived. Stole that one from my wife's book, but. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's a lot of things that are going to be difficult to do with a baby, I guess. We can talk about that. You're going to have to learn to either never go anywhere or risk it. And we have decided to risk it as often as we can because I want Penny to be out and I want her to learn how to handle herself. And I mean, even at this young age, 6 months, 7 months, she is going to... she's learning how to be outside. And if we keep her inside because we're afraid she's going to break down every time, she's never going to learn. So going to Medieval Times, we went to my brother and sister-in-law's to the Super Bowl. We'll go over there all the time, but, going over there for a party, like a big kind of party like that is still an event too. She's this was back to back, by the way. This was Saturday, Sunday for the Super Bowl. So, I mean, she was overstimulated as fuck. But she's doing it, and she loves hanging out with people, being held by the different family members, and it's all part of us learning how to navigate situations. Of course, we have to leave early from time to time, which can be annoying, and I get that, but we do have to leave early sometimes. If the choice is my baby's losing her shit or me leaving your party early, like for instance, we left the Super Bowl at the third period, honestly, and I didn't have any horse in that race anyways, so it doesn't really matter to me, but it was a decent game, to say the least. But we left half an hour early, whatever the last quarter would have cost us, and it was for the better because she started crying in the car, and I feel like she was going to do that. And the worst is trying to load a crying baby into a vehicle. That is probably, and then they're just pushing and stretching and not bending where they're supposed to bend and bending where they're not supposed to bend. They're crazy. I mean, the resilience these children have is astounding. It is crazy. Like, if they don't want to do something, it's likely not going to happen. And she's only 6.5 months. I can't wait till she's older and she really is obstinate about doing things. That's that. So pretty much my thesis on that is your choices are simple. You're either going to risk it or you're going to stay home and miss it. Risk it or miss it on that. Another thing I have here, weird things that children attach themselves to. Now, we have many an expensive toy, many a chew toy, teether, whatever you want to call it, many a thing for this lovely little girl. She has stuffed animals that are her size and bigger that she can snuggle with. She has anything that you could ever imagine that you would want as a baby. Now, the things that babies attach themselves to. Allow me to list off a few that my daughter has odd obsession with. My sock, her sock, water bottles, empty water bottles, probably full, but I never would let her hold a full water bottle. The back scratcher that we have, the box that the toys come in. Is an interesting one. And we have one of those shapes that go into a bucket. She doesn't care for the block shapes very much, but boy, does she love the lid of the bucket. And I say this goes back to my famous words, any port in a storm when it comes to having your kid be happy and relaxed. But it also shines a light on, let's go all the way back to episode 3, most expensive things. Why buy expensive things for a baby when they could be happy with a sock and a water bottle? And I mean, obviously, you want to buy them good things. It's the same thing as when you buy clothes for a baby, to be honest. You should literally do nothing but white onesies, or like just the 5-pack of onesies, white or black or whatever you want, and that's it. Any clothing that you put on them is for you and you alone. And for you to say, look, we took a picture of this cute outfit that you were in, and she doesn't care. She just wants to be clothed, or she doesn't want to be clothed. It's up to her, I suppose. But yeah, like expensive toys, there are legitimate, like we were gifted a teether giraffe thingy that was like legitimately $20. And I say to this, why? Like, oh, she loves that thing. Don't get me wrong, to wherever we got it from, I forget at this point. I have a list somewhere for all the gifts we got, but she does love it. But for the cost of a bottle of water, she has her own. She puts the whole bottle, very safe. The cap's secure. It's not broken. It's not going to choke on her or choke her or anything. But she puts the whole bottle and then starts teething on it. Which again, teething. That's a lot of the reason for the fussiness, in my humble opinion. But expensive toys for let's say it's champagne taste on a beer budget, I guess. My lovely daughter doesn't care for those finer things in life right now. She's more of a let's just play with the sock. I like Mr. Back Scratcher. Big fan of Captain Water Bottle, And hey, more power to him. I think you parents out there will understand that it doesn't care. You don't. It's the same thing. Unless it's a learning toy, you're just buying them something to throw around and grab onto and get tactile memory function going on there, but nothing else. It's not for them to specifically do anything crazy. They're not like missing out because they never got the newest Dr. Quack-a-Lot in the back of the aisle. It's just a bunch of things to make you feel better about being a parent. The more expensive things I buy for my kid, the better they'll be. Maybe not the case, but whatever. Again, water bottles, back scratchers, socks, all those things seem to work just fine. Make them clean socks, by the way. Fun fact, babies' socks rarely get dirty like an adult sock does. Let them play with their own socks, because it's not like they're walking around sweating in them right now. She's she's crawling backwards. I'll get to that at the penny development segment. But yeah, weird things that they get themselves attached to. All right, guys, here's a good one. I don't know if controversial is the correct term for it, but it is an interesting topic. I do apologize. I don't know if you can hear this, but there is some hammering going on in my building right now. So let's act like we're under construction in the new studio, shall we? Girl dad, hashtag girl dad. I came up in a group I was in where someone put out, because of RIP, the late Kobe Bryant, identified himself as a girl dad. I've seen many men in my Dads with Daughters group, any dad group that I'm in, also refer to themselves as girl dad. And this woman, who ended up having to turn off comments because she was so vehemently shot down, says, I don't understand why hashtag girl dad is a thing. I don't understand why people would identify, why they have to go out of their way to say girl dad. Parenting is enough. What are you trying to say, that you being a dad of a daughter is some sort of consolation prize? And I was very sober when I read this, because if I were a bit lit, I'm sure I would have tore this woman apart. I politely guided her in this direction. Being a girl dad, identifying as a girl dad, is not a consolation prize. If anyone believes of their children as a consolation prize, you're not a good parent. If you say, oh, I wish I had a boy, so I guess I'll settle for this girl, you're not a good parent if you consider your child a consolation prize and Please tell me I'm wrong. But what a girl dad is, what a hashtag girl dad is, and this is roughly what I said to her. It's essentially me identifying myself as a dad who's going to take the time to learn how to do her hair, learn how to paint her nails. You know, I'm going to learn all the things. I'm going to sit down for tea parties. I'll wear the tiaras. I will put on the dress if I have to, which, you know, I might look good in it. Who knows? Because I'm going to do everything for my daughter. I'm going to make sure that she feels loved 100% of the time. I want her to know how big of a part of my world she is. And it's, spoiler alert, the whole world. And it's a vow to say that you'll be patient with learning how to do stuff like that, and that you're willing to become a father to a daughter instead of just a dad who's trying his best is okay, but it's something deeper than just being a girl dad. But this woman, a consolation prize. Jesus, she got her shit lit up. Don't worry. I don't have to. You don't have to go after her. She turned off comments, but I got plenty. And I love the women in these groups. They're just so happy to see a dad stepping up and being really enjoying being a dad. So I get kudos and accolades every time I post something in these groups about how I love my kid. Now, this woman apparently seems to think that I don't know. I think it's maybe it's a narrow-mindedness of why would you think hashtag girl dad means that I'm not proud of being a dad of a daughter? Or what are you just trying to shout that you didn't have a boy? And it's like, look, some people want boys, some people want girls. I wanted a baby. And I got a baby. And whatever that baby became, my daughter, I was happy either way. And loving, never did I realize that I had the love in my heart for my daughter, that I would ever have this kind of love in my heart. And it is because of who she is. It's because I'm a girl dad, you know? It is something deep down. It's a badge of honor. I say, to be a girl dad. I would hashtag tattoo that on me if I had the money to do it. I don't right now. I do love tattoos. But yeah, I want to be there. And it's one of those things where, look, I'm not always going to be thrilled, but I've said this before. If you get into trouble, you underage drink and you can't go, you don't want to drive, you can call me anytime. I will be there for you. I may not be happy. I may not be thrilled about it, but I don't want you ever to be afraid to call dad. All right, I'm a girl dad. I want her to be like, I can call my dad for anything, literally anything. And no matter what, he will be there. He will send the money. He will help. He will do whatever he needs to do, and he'll take care of it. And he won't get, upset is one thing and discipline is another thing, but he's not going to ever chew me out and call me an idiot. I'm never going to have to feel like I should never call my father. And that's what being a hashtag girl dad means to me. I think all of you out there understand that if you have a daughter, dads, if you have a daughter out there and you are proud, shout it out loud. That is what I do. I constantly and I vehemently overshare how much I care about my daughter, how miserable I am for lack of sleep, but I always say, well, if it's for her, I would never sleep again. That's what being a hashtag girl dad is. It sounds like the construction is quieted. Perhaps they're listening to the broadcast, but boy, that was obnoxious. If you out there heard that, I do apologize. I only have limited windows in which I can record sometimes, and unfortunately, they decided to emergency shut the water off to my building for the 100th time, and it's getting annoying. There's one poop if I got to go to the bathroom, one poop I can do, and that's it, because there's only what's in the tank, and there's no more water coming through, so you got to be real, and that is a interesting insight into my life. I hope you enjoyed it. But there, that's a few good ones for the morning. But you know what I see on the horizon? I see something that everybody loves. I see the best part of waking up is the Dadly News. The Dadly News is, as always, brought to you by Hard Hats and Bibs. Who are they, you may ask? They are a group of men and women who aim to show that it doesn't matter what gender you are, parenting is an even distribution of responsibilities. It's time to break stigmas. There is a lot more to them than just that, but you can learn more yourself by going to their Facebook page by searching Hard Hats and Bibs. You can reach out to them by email at hardhatsandbibs@gmail.com. They are also on Instagram and the Twitter. Parental equality, parental equality, parental equality. All we ever wanted as fathers is to be looked at as the same amount of nurturing, caring as the counterpart mothers that are out there. But check them out, Hard Hats and Bibs. We gotta love, they're doing the good work out there. Here's our Dadly News article from NBC15.com. Lafayette, Colorado dad sentenced after starving, neglecting his young daughters. A Belmont father who was convicted of neglecting his daughters to the point that his 1-year-old weighed less at the time she was found than she did when she was born learned his fate Tuesday. A Lafayette, Colorado judge sentenced Dalton Hopper to 15 years in prison, followed by 5 more years, each of extended supervision and probation. The judge also barred him from making contact with the girls and said he cannot make any contact with any child under 18 without approval. The 25-year-old was arrested along with his wife, Jamie Weigel, after doctors found their daughters severely malnourished. Doctors said the couple's 4-month-old and 1-year-old daughters were both underweight. When the doctors checked on the infant, they found her ribs were visible with little to no fat or muscle tissue on her body. Doctors determined no medical issue would have caused the significant weight drop, describing it as a definite starvation and definite neglect. They went on to say the 4-month-old could have died from malnutrition in as little as a week's time. Now, that's what I would call divine providence. If your doctor said that these people have gone on for a year, at least, being shitty parents, malnourishing their kids, not feeding them the proper things or whatever happened, it didn't go into details malnourishment. You didn't feed them very much or at all. And if the doctor says this couldn't have gone on longer than a week, you are lucky. I am so happy for them. Not the asshole shitbag dumb shit parents, but the kids, because a week later it'd be a 1-year-old and a dead 4-month-old. And the fact that you can go, first off, the fact that you go to the trouble of having 2 kids, not one, so you have one, you want to neglect it. At least maybe you didn't want the kid. No, you went and you had a second kid. Not that neglect is ever appropriate. That was kind of a joke. Lightning, it's a little gallows humor, if you will. But you had 2 kids. You wanted kids, and then what? You just said, God, this food's so expensive. Oh, they'll be fine if we just don't fucking feed them ever. And, and the problem is, and this can happen more often than you think, you don't put your kids into school until they're 4 or 5. Daycare is not mandatory, and it is expensive. So if you think about it, there's no real reason that anyone would have to think that there's anything wrong with your kid until they need to be in a public place where they have to check in every day. School is amazing for that, because if you don't send your kid to school, they'll check in on you and they'll find it, or the teachers will see neglect. They'll see the signs of abuse and neglect. And I love that this fucking scumbag got the pedophile sentence. He's not allowed to talk to anyone under 18 without strict supervision. You should get everything thrown in the book. You took a life, you created 2 lives, and then you said, fuck it, I don't give a shit anymore. And I hope in jail they give you the pedophile's hello, if you know what I'm saying. Because I understand it's not pedophilia, but I do understand that child abuse is child abuse is child abuse, and neglect is abuse. People seem to forget that not paying attention to your kids is about as abusive as hitting them. Like, they need to know that you're there for them, and they need to know that you're going to love them, and you decided just to be a shitbag. So when you go to prison for your 15-year sentence and several years of probation, if you make it out of prison, because people who abuse kids, that is the bottom of the totem pole, if you will, in the prison system. There is prison justice for things like that. And as I've said before, I believe if you are a pedophile or a rapist, and I don't give a shit when you say that's a mental disorder, you don't have to act on things, okay? Like, you can be a creeper, but fuck off. Don't ever be a pedophile. Like, you should. I don't give a shit. I have no sympathy for you if you're a pedophile. And my number one way of getting rid of pedophiles is it should be an automatic death sentence. Pedophiles shot on sight should be America's new fucking motto, because taking the innocence of a child, taking away their innocence, is the worst thing that you could ever do to a human being. And the fact that these stupid shitbag asshole parents literally had they just said, I'm done being a parent, I guess. It wasn't all cracked to be 25 years old. Look, I understand there are young parents out there, but they're fucking more responsible than these shitbag assholes. And just thinking about it, I mean, I can't leave Penny alone for 10 minutes. I feel bad dropping her off at daycare. I don't know how you could neglect your kids. Like, if you literally think about this, you go to the trouble to have 2 kids and then you just don't care anymore, and it didn't mention anything about drugs. It didn't mention anything about, like, they were just, not that would make it any better. But at least maybe some stupid reasoning was I was high all the time. Like the article I did about the guy whose son narked him out because he brought a bag of cocaine or heroin to show and tell, and they just found mountains of it at his house. And I'm like, I love that kid, but his dad's not going to be too thrilled with him if and when he ever gets out of prison. I did that article probably a while ago, but I thought that was wild, man. But just, if you don't want to have kids, you don't have to. Use birth control, wear condoms, don't be a fucking idiot. Don't even give them up for adoption if you're going to go through the whole process of having a baby. But don't have kids to neglect them. I don't know, what are you trying to make up for some horrible act? And, I never knew my father. I was like, okay, well, fuck off. You be better than that. Be better than your stupid past. I'm speculating, but I just can't believe that a person who was raised normally would ever be able to just neglect the perfect, innocent lives of children. I am a child advocate. I couldn't ever feel like I don't have the words to understand how these people work. So fuck them. I hope it said that he's going to prison. It didn't really mention, I'm not going to reread the article, what the wife with a weird last name is going to be doing, but I hope she shares the same fate, because it takes 2 to tango, my friends. And I don't know why I have to say this, but if you're out there and you think neglecting your kids is cool, I will hunt you down and destroy you, because children are the future. I believe the children are the future. I don't know the rest of the words, yeah. But seriously, don't neglect your kids. And they'll grow up maybe and they'll like you and take care of you when you're older. Because if you do neglect your kids, I don't think these kids are going to be taking care of mommy and daddy in their old age. I can just sense that. But that's that article. That's the deadly news for today. Then you know what that means. You know what that time again is for. You know what we're doing. After the deadly news comes the segment to end all segments. The segment about my lovely baby, my daughter, my perfect little angel. The segment that's got the harp production. It's going to be the Where is my Penny at developmentally? I don't know. Let's check in with Penny Dev. I don't want to know where she's at developmentally. All right, top of the hour. Welcome back there, WDAD. We got a good one for you. Penny Development segment coming at you. Top of the hour. Penny has been doing great things. She is learning, she's absorbing, she is becoming a little person, and it's adorable. She plays at daycare with this little girl, Eloise, and I believe she is... Eloise is probably 2 pounds soaking wet with a cinder block, whereas my child is hardy and sturdy. And the 2 of them started off by pulling each other's hair and being little gangsters. Now Penny runs the prison gang in the old daycare. I'll tell you that right now. But Eloise is her number 2. The number 2 for sure. And listen, like, it's so cute because Eloise was trying to stand up. I'm being told by the daycare staff. Eloise was trying to stand up, and Penny was sitting there just cheering her on, like, blah, blah, blah. That's her new thing now, by the way. She likes to thrash her arms up and down and, like, push herself up. So hopefully she's building up that strength to walk or crawl. But yeah, she's just cheering on Eloise, Smile, and the two of them are fast friends. And I always give Eloise a little pat in the head. Now, the weird thing at daycare, I don't really know what the decorum is. I don't necessarily want someone else holding my child, to be fair, like a stranger. But, it's all innocent, in my opinion. I don't really have a super crazy opinion about that. But yeah, she is just hanging out, loving it. She's got her first friend. And we're hoping to meet the parents, so to speak. Maybe we can get if she's around the same age as Penny, then we can have a friend for life, and hopefully they're cool people. Hopefully they're radical, man. And then we can all be friends, and then we're best friends. And that's how you make best friends. No, I love that we have a few of our friends have kids. It's nice to be around other people who have kids, and it's great. So, I mean, we'd love to meet this. If Penny seems to like her, of course, they could be crazy. We don't know. But Eloise is such a nice name. But yeah, crawling. She kind of swims on the floor. She will not go forward. She will reach for things and get frustrated that she can't get there. So I think she's trying to work it out in her head that she should be moving. When she tries to crawl, she actually crawls backwards, which I heard is actually a developmental step. She actually got herself almost wedged under the bed trying to go forward, and she went backwards. But yeah, that's her. That's where she's at crawling-wise. Well, and the last thing on Penny development this week, I guess I could say, is altogether, she is just a very happy baby. She loves to smile. She's doing this new thing when I pick her up, and she's just like, like she's really like just having a blast just when I pick her up for no reason. We're not playing around. She's just having a good time. She managed to stay calm through medieval times. As I said earlier, a lot of these stressful situations for me, because I'm worried about her, she seems to manage and navigate very, very fluidly. So, yeah, she's just a happy baby. It's nice to have a happy baby. And I'll tell you right now, she's smiling more often than she's not. And that's huge for me because that smile lights up my world. So that's my Penny development segment. As you notice, if you start way back on episode 1, I think episode 8 was when I really hit my stride with production and everything and kind of the format for the show. But when I started, Penny's development was every new thing that was happening. Now you'll notice it's more little things here and there and her kind of figuring it out. And that is parenthood. It's so much going on at first. So many things happening at first. And then it's not that there's so many things happening. It's that she's working and developing the new things that she's trying to do. And that's parenting. Let's go start from 0, go to 60, and that's that. So guys, I have had fun today. I am worried. Tomorrow I am leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. I'll be back on Sunday night. But I am worried about the flight, as I said, but I am optimistic. My wife will be there to calm me down, and my baby will be a calm, happy baby. That's my mantra. But yeah, it's going to be fun. And trust me, I'll have all kinds of things I'm sure to tell you about when I get back for next Tuesday's episode. Apologize for the delay again because it's been crazy these last couple of weeks with illness and imminent travel. It's just been hard to find a minute. And here's my minute. Matt's minute. Math minutes. No. So it's cool, man. I'm excited. The show I've just been getting all kinds of great feedback. I've been getting good reviews. I've had a lot of people reaching out to me with some stuff that they would like me to discuss. A few people I'm like, well, you can actually go back to this episode to hear what I have already said about that. I'm not afraid to talk about a topic more than once. I'll happily do it. Yeah, guys, it's great. We're moving. We're going viral like the coronavirus. I know I used that before. It's great. It's perfect. So happy to have you all on board while you follow me through my journey of parenthood. The fact that I even have the balls to tell you guys any advice is It's just daunting, but I'm enjoying it. Thank you for listening. Don't forget, I am happy to talk about any topics that you would like. Hit me up on the Facebook page. Hit me up on the email. Call the Dad Hotline. I don't know if anybody knows, the Dad Hotline is if you want to call and leave a story about an interesting or funny story as a parent that you've had, I will play it on the show. And if you want anything that goes on that voicemail, I say that we could potentially use it for the show. But if you have a funny story, it could be as long or as short as you want. I can put it on the show, and it could be a fun little thing. Just leave your name and your first name, your last name, whatever you want to be referred to as, and just know that I'll put it on the show. So that's kind of fun. I'd love to do more of those. I've had a couple. And guys, I gotta go. I'm moving on. I need lunch, frankly. I am hungry. So I am moving on out, moving on up the road, moving on up to Wendy's, probably. I don't know. But I will leave you, as I do every week, with my world-famous words of wisdom. My kid is better than your kid, and vaccinate your kids or keep them the hell away from mine. I'm Matt Howes, and this has been Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. You've just listened to one dad's perspective on parenting. This show is not meant to be an authority on how you should raise your kids. Did you enjoy the show? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on social media. Leave a review. Anywhere that you can find and download podcasts, you can find Shits and Giggles. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at shitsandgigs42 with 2 G's. Email us at shitsandgigs42@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube as well by searching for Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. Don't forget, you can also call the hotline to leave a quick story about you as a parent at 818-835-2350. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.